What if the people who were meant to protect you became the very ones who sold you into suffering? Would you still believe God had a plan? Joseph was born into a family already shaped by struggle, rivalry, and unresolved pain. His father, Jacob, had lived a life filled with conflict from the very beginning, wrestling with his brother even before they were born. That history of tension followed Jacob into adulthood, into his marriages, and eventually into the household where Joseph was born. Joseph entered the world as the son of Jacob's old age, born to Rachel, the woman Jacob loved with his whole heart. Rachel's journey to motherhood had been filled with longing and tears. For years she watched other women bear children while she waited in silence. When Joseph was finally born, he was not just a child, he was an answered prayer, a miracle wrapped in flesh. Jacob's love for Rachel overflowed onto Joseph, and that love was never hidden. As Joseph grew, he became a quiet observer of the world around him. He listened more than he spoke. He watched how his brothers interacted with one another and with their father. He noticed their shortcuts, their anger, their bitterness. While they worked long hours in the fields, Joseph often remained closer to Jacob, learning family history, listening to stories of God's covenant with Abraham, of Isaac on the altar, of angels ascending and descending in dreams. These stories shaped Joseph's faith before his strength. Joseph's heart leaned toward righteousness, but his maturity had not yet caught up with his calling. When he saw his brothers acting dishonestly, he reported them to their father. He did not understand that truth spoken without wisdom can wound deeply. Each report widened the distance between Joseph and his brothers. They began to see him not as a younger brother, but as a spy, a reminder that their father's eyes were always watching. Then came the robe. Jacob had a garment made for Joseph, richly ornamented, carefully designed, unlike anything his brothers owned. It was a robe that spoke without words. It declared favor. It declared distinction. It declared future leadership. When Joseph wore it, he did not intend to provoke jealousy, but jealousy rose anyway. Every glance at the robe reminded his brothers that they felt unseen, unloved, and replaced. Hatred does not appear suddenly. It grows slowly, fed by comparison and silence. Day after day, the brothers carried this bitterness within them, until it became part of who they were. As Joseph entered his teenage years, God began to speak to him through dreams. These dreams were vivid and heavy, carrying a sense of authority Joseph did not yet understand. One night, Joseph dreamed of standing in a field with his brothers. As they gathered sheaves of grain, Joseph's sheaf rose and stood upright while the others bowed before it. The image stayed with him long after he awoke. On another night, Joseph dreamed again. This time, the sun, the moon, and 11 stars bowed before him. The dream was overwhelming, filled with divine weight. Joseph woke with his heart racing, unsure of what it meant but certain it mattered. In his innocence,